Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Keith Costin, the president of the Plainfield Education Association, thank you so much, everyone, for coming to our PEA forum this evening with our school board candidates. With us, we have Robbie Campbell-Lissade, Dr. Lamonte Harris, and Victor Webb. Hene Wyatt will be on her way. Right now, she is doing board business at the CUBE conference in Las Vegas. She is presenting. So she will be jumping in a few minutes. So we're going to get started with introductions of all of our candidates, and then we'll be asking questions from Plainfield Education Association members. Thank you so much. So Mr. Webb, would you please introduce yourself?
Good evening. My name is Victor Webb. I'm the vice president of the Plainfield Board of Education currently, and I'm seeking a second term re-election and look forward to serving the city of Plainfield and the Plainfield Board for the next term.
Thank you very much, Mr. Webb. Ms. Lissade?
Hi, my name is Robbie Campbell-Lissade, and I'm excited to announce my candidacy for the Plainfield Board of Education. For over 15 years, I've proudly called Plainfield my home, and I'm a deeply involved parent. Sorry, I have allergies, of two wonderful children. One of my sons has autism, and he recently graduated from the Plainfield public school system. And his experience in education has proudly shaped my perspective on education and community support. As I navigate the triumphs and challenges of raising a child with special needs, I became fiercely committed to advocating for the special needs community. I believe it's essential to foster collaboration between education providers, law enforcement, and individuals with disabilities. And because of that, one of my proudest achievements was creating the Plainfield Special Needs Registry, which I'm really proud of. It's a valuable resource that empowers emergency personnel to better understand and assist individuals with special needs in both their homes and in the community. It is truly my proudest accomplishment here in town. My background is in finance. I am currently the Vice Dean of Finance, where I oversee a $160 million budget. Previous to that, I was working at Rutgers, where I oversaw a $450 million budget. So I have a strong background in budgeting. I'm a firm believer in the straightforward, practical solutions that can make a real difference, and I will champion strongly for parents in the special education. I would certainly look to tailor those programs to ensure that no child is left behind, create a safe and nurturing learning environment where every child thrives, increase staff retention and well-being, and uphold fiscal responsibilities to ensure our resources are utilized effectively and efficiently. My campaign is rooted in genuine advocacy rather than political ambition. I'm dedicated to supporting programs that not only promote academic excellence, but also prioritize the needs of special needs individuals, providing them with appropriate educational and related services. I will approach budget allocations with transparency and care and ensure that every dollar serves our students and community effectively. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Lissade. Dr. Harris?
Good evening. I am Dr. Harris, lifelong Plainfield resident, former Plainfield Board of Education teacher. I've had over 20 years in educational service, 15 of which has been serving majority students with exceptional learning needs. I hold a master's in special education from Kane University and a doctorate in educational leadership from NJCU. I'm running for board in hopes to use my experience and knowledge in and out of the classroom and school buildings to improve on the things the board is doing. I'm particularly interested in vetting curriculum programs and policies that are equitable, inclusive, and expansive, collaborating with community partners and partnering with families to know their needs, and engaging in practices that address staff shortages, staff retention, and staff development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harris. So we're going to start with the questions. Ms. Penada will ask the first question, and we're going to be starting with Ms. Lissade, then Dr. Harris, and then Mr. Webb.
Okay, good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. My name is Keisha Pinedo. I'm the special education teacher, or one of the special education teacher at Charles and Anna Booker School for kindergarten and first grade. And I'm a rep for the union in my building. Why are you running for the school board, and what is your passion for education?
Running for the Board of Education, it's a great opportunity to positively impact the educational experiences of students, teachers, and families in our community. And I'm passionate about ensuring equitable access to quality instruction and creating a nurturing environment where every child can thrive. I'm running for the board for a few reasons. One is to support teachers and staff. I've been doing a lot of walking to promote myself, and I've spoken to a few teachers, and I understand that it is vital to support these teachers and their well-beings, and that includes professional development, increased compensation, and a positive work environment. So I do hear you, teachers. If you're listening, I hear you. Preparing students for future success, that could be equipping them for academics and post-secondary, and partnering with local colleges to ensure that we have pre-college programs to prepare them for post-secondary academics. But not only that, we'll be working hard to ensure that we have a vocational program, because not every student is meant to go to college, but there are some students who could benefit from trade. And I also want to enhance the family and community engagement. A strong communication between schools and family is crucial for every child to be successful. I myself have 2 children, and I found that the communication that I had with his teachers and administrative, that their success in school. The second question, go to the second question, or my passion for education? Yeah.
It's a two-part question,
Second
sorry.
part question, absolutely. Okay, no problem. So education transforms lives and unlocks opportunities. You know, I myself went to college and I found that education, and went to private school, public school as well. So I say that education transforms lives and unlocks opportunities. I would strive to create a district where every student feels valued and every teacher feels supported and families feel included, because that's a total factor is important to student success. In my role, if I'm elected on the Board of Education, I will promote collaboration among all stakeholders and prioritize investments in mental health resources. After-school programs are key as well, and culturally responsive teaching. These contributions together, to me, could work towards a district where every student has the support and opportunities to reach their full potential. Thank you.
Mr. Harris?
I know this is a two-part question, but I'm going to pretty much answer it all together, because my passion for education is actually why I am running for school board. I've spent my life's work as an adult serving in education, again, 20+ years as an educator. Even outside of my day-to-day responsibilities in the school building, I founded a nonprofit in 2012, which is dedicated to education as well, specifically youth in the urban areas, with life skill programs and wraparound services to address the whole child, and things that may not be met in the classroom, or an extension of the things that are happening in the school. I'm particularly interested in helping the school board through assessing the data-driven and evidence-based decision making, providing opportunities to build with the community and business partners in the community to enhance the programs, specifically in the areas of skill-based learning, and using data-driven decisions to help accurately inform the policies and programs that are occurring in the school.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Mr. Webb?
Yes, thank you for the question. So I'm a candidate for school board because I believe in the transformative power of education and want to ensure that every student in our district has access to high quality learning opportunities. My passion for education stems from a commitment to equity, inclusivity, and fostering environments where all students can thrive. I want to advocate for resources that support both students and teachers, promote community engagement, and address the challenges we face, such as recruitment and facility upgrades. I believe that working collaboratively with educators, families, and community members, we can create a school system that empowers every child to reach their full potential. Education is not just about academics, it's about nurturing the whole child and preparing them for a successful future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Ms. Westry Rogers is going to ask our next question. And we're going to be starting with Dr. Harris and then Mr. Webb and then Ms. Lissade.
Good evening. This is a two-part question as well. The first question is, many of our facilities are in need of repair and upgrades, and many of the buildings lack climate control, especially for hot weather. What is your vision for the future of the facilities of the Plainfield Public School, and how can you better help serve in that capacity?
So I'm well aware of the needed repairs and upgrades in the buildings. As an experienced teacher in Plainfield, I remember having to end school days, shorten school days because of a lack of air conditioning at Stillman. And being in facilities like Jefferson, where there aren't an official gym or auditorium where students have all of the things that they deserve, such as a stage to perform on or a basketball hoop to shoot at. So my vision for Plainfield is to build the infrastructure where all of the students' interests, all of their abilities are being supported with buildings and the capacity to thrive in. Just what is it? Okay. So again, I see that there are been upgrades, sporting facilities, and the building of new schools throughout Plainfield, but our students attend on the West End and the East End, and I just wanted to make sure I do my due diligence as a board member so that all students across Plainfield have access to the same type of facilities no matter where they're living.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Mr. Webb?
Great. Just for clarification, we always advocate for new facilities, but those things definitely take time. The state allows us to, they grant us these opportunities, far and few. As you know, we've had to, we had to wait a few years before we got the Charles and Anna Booker School. But what I did know is that when I came onto the board, we had a long-range facilities plan. And we approved it in 2022. And this plan included an assessment of all our facilities and helped establish a roadmap to follow. And this roadmap will help us determine where the improvements need to happen in the district. However, we don't get involved in the day-to-day. We have a great facilities team, and with the support of RBA, they manage that long-range facilities plan. And it just goes into sustainable practices because we want to make sure that we have climate control upgrades, modern learning spaces, but also maintain a long-term funding strategy. These facilities cost money. And sometimes budgets shift and priorities shift, and we may need to focus on pouring the money into the students' education, or even retaining faculty members, or it just depends on how it fluctuates. But facilities and making sure that there's always stakeholder involvement and where the needs are is very important, and that stays at the top of our priority list.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. Ms. Lissade?
Hi, thank you so much for the question. So investing in school infrastructure is important for creating a safe and welcoming environment. I read the the approved plan by the superintendent. And it had a $1 million plan in it for a 20-year capital maintenance and long-range facility plan. So working with the superintendent, I certainly would recommend some energy efficiencies like LED lightings and energy efficient windows to save money. Some upgrades to Havoc systems to improve air quality. Sorry to hear about your experience, Dr. Harris, but certainly would be looking to resource funds towards upgrading the Havoc systems and making the buildings accessible with ramps and restrooms that are appropriate for those with special needs. Also, one thing I would definitely want to invest in is technology upgrades. Certainly making sure the classrooms have high-speed internet and secure networks. Outdoor spaces are great. I love the greenhouses that I see in some schools. Update the playgrounds. Also create a deferred maintenance plan. As Mr. Webb indicated, some of these facilities, they will have challenges as upgrades are made, but if you have a good deferred maintenance plan, a multi-year plan, it should address some of those issues with maintenance contracts. So prioritize urgent projects according to available funding to keep our schools safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Ms. Westry Rogers will read the next, wait, Ms. Westry Rogers will read the next question? No? Why not?
Okay. There are 40 unfulfilled instructional positions over 30 days into the school year currently, impacting the learning for hundreds of students in our school system. Recruitment and retention of teachers is a big issue in Plainfield. How do you intend to address this issue?
And I apologize. Mr. Webb will take this first, then Ms. Lissade, and then Dr. Harris.
Great, thank you. So over the last few years, we've supported targeted recruitment efforts and flexible hiring practices, going to honestly other areas, other countries, to recruit teachers. We have a strong need for bilingual teachers. So we went to South America to recruit at some point. But also having flexible hiring practices, make sure we have competitive compensation, offer work-life balances, promoting policies that support, work-life balance, such as manageable class sizes, reasonable workload expectations, wellness programs. In our recruitment, we partner with local universities to prepare teachers that had teacher preparation programs to try to create a pipeline for educators, try to make sure we have a supportive work environment, foster a positive school culture by promoting collaboration, providing mentorship, so for new teachers and encouraging professional development opportunities, just making sure that teachers feel supported and just continue to promote the teaching field. But, this is an issue that's plaguing education system nationwide. And that's a topic while we're here at the conference as well. So, we're looking at all avenues and really just try to make Plainfield one of the top districts for any teacher in the area.
Thank you so much. Ms. Lissade?
I apologize. I do have a son with autism, and sometimes he vocalizes, but that's my baby, and he's why I'm here. So, hey, okay. What was the question? Okay, teacher shortage. Oh, thank you for that. That's so important. Again, I've been speaking to a lot of teachers as I'm walking. So, I would recommend collaborating again with the superintendent to conduct a compensation analysis across the districts to understand the different salary ranges. With this information, I think we can prepare a competitive salary structure. I'm also acutely aware of mental illness and burnout, so I would recommend a wellness program that includes access to wellness tools, like mental health resources, counseling, wellness days. Additionally, I would work with superintendent to create a supportive environment through effective onboarding. Peer mentorship is great for new teachers. Guidance, certainly that would add valuable guidance. Professional development is key, not for teachers. I think that's so important. And that would also prepare teachers for upward mobility in their profession. Implementing these effective recruitment and retention strategies, I think, is essential and will help us attract a diverse group of educators, but also help us retain them over a long term. And if you don't mind, I'll keep myself on mute. And when you call me, I'll unmute myself. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lissade, and, you know, all voices are welcome, including your children. Dr. Harris?
So I feel the effects of staff shortages every day. In most of, if not all of my career, I felt the effects. So having 40 unfilled positions not only is a disadvantage to our students where class sizes are overwhelming, but it also speaks to the obstacles that our current teachers who are filling the positions face. Ed Week completed a recent survey of K-12 educators and found that in the U.S. that 80% of educators, K-12 teachers and MN, are considering career changes or job changes. Top 5 reasons are pay at 43%, work and workload at 37%, student behavior at 36%, district's response to discipline at 33%, and the work and culture environment at 27%. So yes, competitive salaries is a major factor in attracting and retaining staff, but we definitely have to build and sustain programs and policies where the staff that we do have feel supported, they feel strengthened, they are being developed, and really in a way that promotes our district, not just as a competitive salary district, but as an attractive district to work in, where teachers feel supported, where families and students feel supported by staff that is there because of the development we're putting into our teachers and our educators.
Thank you so much. So Ms. Pinado is going to ask the next question, and the order will be Ms. Lissade, and then Dr. Harris, and then Mr. Webb.
Can somebody else go first 1 second? Because my son is having a moment, and so it's gonna take me.
No problem. I'll jump in. No, I got it.
Okay, and if you need me to repeat the question, Ms. Lissade, just let me know, okay? How do you intend to support the improvement of the NJSLA score? My dogs are having a moment, especially for our multilingual special needs population.
So Plainfield is an urban district where we know that 12% of our students are students with exceptional learning needs. 43% of our students are English language learners. But when we dive into the actual NJSLA scores, we see that the difference between our typical and general education students' averages and the English language learners and students with disability scores are not that far from each other. So I think it's important that we're looking at the curriculum and the programs that we're putting in front of our students, and we are equipping our teachers with, and we're not just bringing in new curriculums or changing curriculums every 2 to 3 years, but we're actually sustaining policies where teachers have a chance to become experts in what they're teaching. We have a chance to evaluate these programs, these curriculums that are evidence-based and grounded in the science of learning and educating students. And where we see gaps or where we see that these programs are not successful, that we're replacing them, placing them with data-driven and evidence-based curriculums to support our scores, our state scores. Scores is just one part of the educational process. We want to make sure that when students leave our district, they are prepared for life. So these programs also need to do that as well.
Thank you. Ms. Lissade, are you ready, or you want Mr. Webb to go next?
Hey, I can manage with vocalizations. If it's okay with you all. He's my
100%.
son.
Yes, no, absolutely. Please.
It's okay. Okay. So thank you so much for that question. So the NJSLA is interesting because it really like tests the students' abilities, and it rates the school. My son actually had to take a similar form of NJSLA, which I found interesting because of where he is on the spectrum. And so, I have some concerns about how the NJSLA was given to him, and the score that came out of it. But I think I'm just going to go to the question, which is multilingual special needs population. So improving the NJSLA scores requires some targeted support, and that's especially for our multilingual and special needs students. As I said, I had really strong challenges with my son taking the NJSLA, particularly where he is on the spectrum. So I would definitely advocate for some increased resources for the special instruction, such as tailored reading programs and bilingual learning aids, and I would meet students at their skill levels. Certainly having some after-school programs to support their development as well, I think will help improve the scores. Teachers also need to be instructed in taking the NJSLL or getting ready for those resources. So professional development for teachers is also essential, equipping them with strategies to differentiate instructions based on culture and special needs. That's key. After-school tutoring, establishing small focus groups, those are key during the day. I call them like quick runs. So my other son, when we're preparing for the NJSLA, I'll do quick runs. So we do like a 10-minute span, 10 minutes, and then break, 10 minutes, 10 minutes break, just so that I can make sure that he's engaged and all of the information is he's receiving, he's understanding it, instead of having him study the whole, a certain segment of the NJSLA for over 30 minutes. So it's certainly working with the teachers on different strategies to ensure that the students have enough information to be successful, but also looking at the special needs population and the bilingual population to ensure that we're equipping our teachers with information to make sure they're also going to be successful. My goal is always to ensure every student is supported with resources, instruction, and encouragement to succeed. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Mr. Webb?
So some strategies I would say would be, of course, professional development, train teachers in culturally responsive teaching and effective strategies for supporting multilingual learners with special needs. Having targeted interventions, implement small group interventions focusing on specific skills, using research-based strategies that can cater to both language and acquisition and special education needs. Provide language support, provide bilingual resources and language support to help students understanding their content better, including translated materials and dual language instruction. Family engagement, involve families in providing resources in their native languages and encouraging their participation in the learning process. But also having regular assessments, making sure we use formative assessments to track the progress and adjust instruction as needed, ensuring that the students are meeting their individual learning goals. Those are just a few of the strategies that I think we can, if we were able to implement and include a supportive working environment, then that would enhance learning and ultimately improve the NJSLA scores.
Thank you so much. So we're going to do one more question, and then everyone will have an opportunity to have a closing statement. So this last question, Mrs. Westry Rogers will ask, and we'll start with Dr. Harris, and then go to Mr. Webb, and finally to Mrs. Sa.
Okay, so the question is divided into 3 separate questions. So would you like for me to just read all 3 parts of the question, or would you like for me to do each question separately?
You can read all 3 to me.
Okay, so the questions are: how can you better utilize communication tools to reach out to our parents and families in the district? How will you make our schools more welcoming to our families? And finally, how will you reach out to families that do not have the same, that do not speak the same language, are not computer savvy, and cultural understanding of parent school expectations that we have?
Well, thank you. I think one of the first things that we need to realize is the demographic of Plainfield and promoting our communications to address that demographic, which is a largely Spanish-speaking population. One of the ways we can do such is leveraging technology. I spent 2 years as a director of technology in another district, and there are a multifaceted of programs that can communicate for our teachers, for our educators in one language, and immediately translate to the parents and families in another language, and vice versa, where the parents are communicating back in one language and our staff are receiving it in their native language. So we're creating a situation where effective communication is key. And I always say this, that communication is one thing, but comprehension is another. So we have to make sure that our parents are understanding the things that we're communicating, and we are understanding what they're communicating to us. One of panelists actually spoke of culturally responsive teaching, and yes, that is a very, very useful and valuable practice within the school and the classroom. But I think we have to be culturally responsible when we're connecting with our families, when we're creating messages and we're sending out information, that we are speaking to the diverse needs of the student and family population. And we're creating a welcoming environment so that families want to stay connected to the schools, they want to come inside the buildings, and that they want to be a part of the learning process, not on just report card, but on the day-to-day type of things with the school. Just give me 1 second as I confirm that I've answered all parts of this question. And lastly, as we put those the technology tools, and we are making our schools and our communication methods more culturally responsive, that we present opportunities for parents to learn just as much as their students, be them learning how to use the platforms that the students are using to learn, or just using the platforms to communicate with the staff and administration. So that can be done through digital and virtual avenues, as well as welcoming parents into the doors. I think COVID has taught us that we need to use every resource at hand, and Plainfield is a district that has a one-on-one initiative. So we know that every student does have access to a device. So we should use what we have on hand and leverage that technology to strengthen our communication and our development of the parents' ability to use the tools at home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harris. Mr. Webb.
Great, thank you. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Okay, so the question was divided into 3 parts. The first part is, how can you better utilize communication tools to reach out to parents and families in the district? How can you make our schools more welcoming to families? And finally, how will you reach out to families who do not have the same language, computer savvy, or cultural understanding of parent-school expectations that you have?
Okay. So first, using diverse communication channels, a mix of platforms, emails, text messages, social media are some ways that we reach out to parents. So we just upgraded the website, and we're just continuing to get feedback on that and continuing to use upgrades. I'm sorry, to make improvements, promote the parent teacher organizations throughout the community, encourage parents to get involved with that, making sure that they get all the material that's being sent home from the school. And even honestly, I know it's a digital age, but sometimes it's a flyer. You know, they used to send flyers in the backpacks and make sure it gets home, because some parents may not have access to social media, emails, you know, or have computers at home. So the good old flyer in the backpack, you know, always works sometimes. Second question, how will we make our schools more welcoming? Well, with those, once those facilities are upgraded, we want to make sure that we're hosting events, regular community events that invite families into the school environment. These can include open houses, cultural celebrations, educational workshops. Like, the school is here for the community, quite honestly, and we want parents to not just send their kids there, but also come there, if you know, as frequently as possible. So many community members use the facilities, right? We don't have a recreation center in town, so the schools are where people go, whether it's for 40-year-old double dutch or for basketball. You know, the parents are there, you know, with their kids for sporting events, so you know, they need to also go there to support their educational needs as well. And how do we reach out to people that aren't that computer savvy? You know, just like I said, user-friendly technology, simplify the technology that we're using, create easy navigation portals, provide translation of all important communications in multiple languages to accommodate non-English speaking families. And we also have, we translate our board meetings in Spanish as well. So, and we invite people to come to the board meetings all the time, you know, so just there are many different ways, and we're continuing to improve as a district. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Lissade?
Thank you so much for that question. So I did a little research. So Plainfield is about 52% Hispanic or Latino, which Dr. Harris pointed out. Thank you for that. And the strategic plan does have a vision in it to develop a comprehensive communication plan to increase community engagement measured by new partnerships, community perception improvements, and increased participation and feedback. Listen, effective communication is key with parents and families to ensure that our children succeed. It is the #1 thing that parents and teachers and children need to have in order for them to be successful. These messages can be tailored through specific groups, materials like Mr. Webb said, like just good old-fashioned paper, urgent messages through the smartphone, like, you know, instant messages through phone. Social media is great, like Facebook and Instagram for those parents who are savvy. Those are great channels. Hosting virtual events are really great as well. Implementing district apps can centralize information. Leveraging those tools, I think, can build a stronger connection between families. I also really do think that, and I think one of my, either Mr. Webb or Dr. Harris may have said it, but just having parent nights or just mentorship groups and having meetings in the school, just those things I think are very important to bridging the gap and building trust between parents, teachers, and administration as well. One thing that I know like parents love is to see that their children are highlighted in something. So if you can say, hey, parents, we have a award show. Parents love those. Those are great opportunities to build bridges and have communication with parents and talk with the teachers. Having bilingual staff on duty. I think Mr. Webb said that, the board members are now translated in Spanish, but all those things are key to making sure that information is accessible. This is the age of technology. Most people have phones. A lot of people have phones, but I do think having in-person meetings with these parents with different languages is also key. It shows that you're invested into their kid. You're spending time in after school to have conversations with them. And so those things I think are very important. Communication through technology, communication through having in-person meetings, communication through paper. All of those are important to making sure our information is shared. I myself, with my son, when he was in the Plainfield public school system, my autistic son, I never received any information, not even for Autism Walk. And so those things we need to kind of make sure that all parents received this kind of information. So I love that there's a strategy in place, that the the current board and the superintendent have worked on to target a comprehensive communication plan. And I'm very excited about it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So now we'll have closing statements from all the candidates. We'll start with Mr. Webb, then Ms. Lissade, and finally Dr. Harris.
Well, I just want to say thank you to the PEA for inviting us to have this forum to speak on our platform and to just talk about what our candidacy is about. I sincerely greatly appreciate it. I'm also a lifelong resident of Plainfield. I've been serving the community in so many different ways, either as the director of the American Red Cross that used to be in the city for 6 years, as the Youth and Volunteer Services Director, responding to fires, mass care shelters, you name it, from working in the human services field since 2006. Working with adults with disabilities, with at-risk youth, early intervention services. I have a lengthy background. Served the city of Plainfield working for the recreation department for about 15 years, coordinated the Plainfield Parade. The list goes on and on. I just found ways that I can serve the city of Plainfield. And currently, as the commissioner of the Plainfield Board of Education, we've made transformative change, historical change. I don't think there's been a board that has been able to make such change and be supported by the community in this way in my lifetime, quite honestly. We've had dissension amongst boards, lack of consistency at superintendents, not really focusing on the kids, not really supporting the teachers and the faculty, right? And I can honestly say that this community supports us. This community supports me, and I love it, and I think they love me, and I'm looking forward to an opportunity to serve again. And would like your support and your vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Webb. Ms. Lissade?
Hi, well, thank you so much for inviting me to express my candidacy and tell why I think I'm the best candidate for this role. My background, I'm a parent. I'm a parent with a strong foundation in understanding special needs, and also understanding high achievers, because I have both. As a Dean of Finance for Temple University, my background in budgeting is strong. I'm also a member of the CPAG, which is the Special Education Plainfield Advocacy Group. And in addition to that, I have a strong relationship with the autism community, where I present regularly on the Black community and autism. I really do believe that I am the best candidate for this role because of my background in finance, and also my strong belief in making sure that our children move forward. And that is creating a space for them, those who want to graduate and go to post-secondary academics, making sure they have the line, using dual enrollment programs to ensure they're prepared for post-secondary academics, but also working with those students who want to do a trade, building a vocational program for those students who want to succeed with a trade. I believe that is something that is crucial for our children. The climate control, staff retention, and student attendance are all very important to why I believe I am the best candidate, because I will promote those, the culture and climate, the staff retention, student attendance, and teacher well-being, and also make sure that I am working with the budget that we have to ensure that we're responsible, being fiscally accountable, and building relationships and partnering with different organizations to ensure we're utilizing our funds in a way that's fiscally responsible. I have no connections with anyone in this town. Nothing will prevent me from voting for the superintendent or anything else on the board. And that, I think, is very important for those of you who want to have a candidate that has no allegiance to anyone and that can vote without any issues. So I believe I'm the best candidate for this position, and I respectfully ask for your vote. Thank you so much. My name is Robbie Campbell-Lissade, and I am running in column 1.
So much, Ms. Lissade. Dr. Harris?
So everything I've done in the last 25 years has been dedicated towards the and encouragement of building youth, specifically in Plainfield. Um, as a lifelong Plainfield resident, as a former Plainfield teacher, as a current nonprofit founder and president that services Plainfield and extended urban areas through youth empowerment and programming. My life work is for children. Children need is first and foremost in my educational philosophy. I believe each child has unique gifts, interests, abilities that should be nurtured and celebrated. With that said, I encourage holistic educational practices that address the whole child, which includes making sure that every stakeholder that is presented to this child or the child has, from the parent to the custodians to the teachers to every educational support staff, they are supported and equipped with the proper resources to aid children in their educational and life journeys. I hope to do so if elected on the board by bringing my background and experience in education, particularly in helping vet curriculum and program policies that are grounded in evidence-based and research-based approaches that are equitable, inclusive, and expansive. Again, collaborating and partnering with the community to address their needs and interests to improve both the academic and the socioeconomic outcomes for the students and their families, and engaging in practices to address the teacher and support staff shortages, their continued growth and their retention, in order to guarantee that students receive a high quality education from qualified faculty and staff on a consistent basis. I am Lamont Harris, Dr. Lamont T. Harris, Plainfield born and raised, Plainfield educated from neighborhood house to Emerson School to Maxon School to Plainfield High School. And I am on column 2. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harris. So I want to thank all of our candidates for attending this evening. I do apologize that Mrs. Wyatt was unable to attend this evening. She is doing some board business at the CUBE conference today. She's presenting. So unfortunately, she was unable to join us. And I want to thank Ms. Penado and Ms. Westry Rogers for helping out with these.
Is
With
Miss
our
Donato
forum.
okay? She looks like is she all right?
Yeah, she's fine.
Oh, okay.
Monday. She kindergarten teacher.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great night.
All right, bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Night.
night.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Good night, all.
Bye-bye.